The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Oh, well, that felt good. Good. Saturday night felt good.
Yeah, they won.
They won.
They won in overtime in Tampa. I love reruns now.
Me too.
Hooray!
Me too.
I just want to say thank you to Tampa fans.
Okay.
Because I kind of made fun of them a little and was snarky and was like, oh, I love reruns. John Tavares scoring overtime winners in Tampa. Never gets old. And then I said, guys, I'm not used to this. Please let me just have this. And then they did. They did. They were just like, you know what? Little boy, little tiny innocent boy, you take this.
Probably, Mikhail Sergachev was asked about last season. He said it's, the thing that sticks with him is probably that they lost and had a long summer. And he said that's probably what the Leafs feel every year. And according to, I remember Frege and Merrick sat down and chatted with him too, and this is in early September, and he said, we don't want to be the team that Toronto finally got into the second round and they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. He said they were pissed off by the exit. And so the first quote came right before the game. The second quote came a month ago. And the question was going to be, will the Leafs pass the punk test? The second punk test in a row. Because you had Paul Maurice making fun of the Leafs beforehand.
Oh, it's pathetic.
And the Leafs did nothing.
Yep.
And you also had, I know Radko Gudas isn't on the Panthers anymore, but you got to get up for that game, and they didn't. So you had to wonder about this one. And the Leafs played well the entire game. To quote John Cooper, we've watched that movie before against these guys. They played the whole 60 minutes plus, and we didn't.
Ooh.
So when the coach is saying it now, I think that's great. But I think we need to start with the first period.
Yeah. Well, it may dictate how the rest of the season goes.
So Toronto outshot Tampa 17-9 in the first period. But at one point, it was about 12-4, and the Leafs were down 3-1.
Yeah. It was wild.
So I know that the goals happen. Every goal happens on a defensive breakdown. So when I was like, well, the defenseman blew it. I'm like, well, yeah, but 3 goals and 4 shots for Sergei Samsonov.
Ilya! I think that's the first.
No, it's the second. I caught myself on the first one. So maybe 1.5. All right. Ilya Samsonov. Damn, I'll just never get that out of my head, will I?
No. All right.
3 goals on 4 shots pulled. Before we talk about who replaced him and what that means, I just want to talk about Ilya. Guys, it's when the Leafs are playing well, it's a concern when that goalie, who they've just locked up to a longer-term deal, and I know it's 6 games in.
No, it was only one.
Oh, it was only
just a
1 year
deal.
But
it's 3.55.
Is that what it is? That's where the 3 came
3.5. It's more than the 1.8 he got last year. So basically doubled his salary.
So there's lots of time to turn it around. But are there some concerning things in Samsonov's game that are leading to this?
So, I mean, I know you don't want to get into Woll, but they're about the same age, right? Mm-hmm. Samsonov and Woll. Samsonov, I think, has 1 year on Woll. I think what the conversation is going to turn into, I've seen enough of Samsonov that I don't think he can be an elite starting goaltender in this league. Or maybe not elite, but top 15, right? Last year, he had a really good season, but you got to do it consistently, year in, year out. Injuries are a factor in everything. Joseph Woll is still a little bit of the mystery box, but that's better than what you get with Samsonov, who can give you really good games. He gave the Leafs a lot of really good games last year, to the point where we were like, Washington Capitals, you gave him up for nothing, stupid idiots. And then he comes to Toronto. He has time to get it back, but boy, really, really bad start. I'm not convinced he's healthy at all. He has time to get it back, but in the meantime, he's going to lose his job. He's going to lose his job as the starting goaltender for this team in very short order if he keeps playing like that and Woll keeps playing like this.
And the thing is, on the 2 Kucherov goals, it's like, does George Vezina stop those?
George Vezina.
Kucherov plays in this division.
Yeah.
Make some saves.
So they're two great goals. And the thing about not having elite goaltending is that it's fine because you look at the last two Stanley Cup champions and you say, oh, Adin Hill brought them to the Stanley Cup champion. And then in Colorado,
Darcy Kemper.
Took
me a sec.
Got a good contract out of it, too.
Are we sitting here being like, you know what? Those two elite goaltenders really brought those teams to the Stanley Cup championship, you know? Like, no. It's fine in this league the way it's constructed now to have somebody like Ely or to have somebody like Joseph Wall and bet on one of those two goaltenders and that one of them will work out during the playoffs and you can have a deep run.
The last Stanley Cup final was really Sergei Bobrovsky versus Adin Hill.
Sergei Bobrovsky, who lost his job multiple times last season and didn't start the playoffs as the starting goaltender.
No one would have called that. Even if you had... Like at the beginning of the season, you're just like you're Nostradamus, and you predicted a Vegas Florida Cup final. I don't think you would have had either of those two goalies in net.
Logan Thompson was the starting goaltender for the Vegas Golden
Knights. You would have thought Logan Thompson versus Spencer Knight. Things change.
They go and they trade for Jonathan Quick. Maybe you're like, oh, Jonathan Quick is his old self again.
Yep.
From 2012.
I don't know why they would have thought that, though, because he had been playing like his new self for 5 years.
And it didn't happen. And their starting goaltender, Adin Hill, is the one who stepped up and did the thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm so unconcerned about goaltending, and it'll work itself out.
There's a difference between like elite goaltending, like what Vasilevsky can provide, and give us a fucking save.
Mm-hmm.
Give us, and like Sammy's at that point, like he's not even giving you a save, man. Like league average would be kick ass at this point. What's his save percentage on the season sitting at?
Oh, it's not good.
It's what is that? His fourth game, so it's probably like otherworldly bad. Like it might start with a 7.
831.
Honestly, I'm surprised it's that good. Now, look at his career. 913, 902, 896, 919. We know, based on the abundance of evidence in front of us, that he's nowhere near 831 bad.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the season gets... Mid-season arrives quick. You know what I mean?
He says 5 games in.
Yeah, it arrived fucking quick for Edmonton. They're 1-3-1, and the best player in the world is out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Sens fans are calling for Pierre Dorian to be fired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mid-season arrives very fast, and Joseph Woll has played 5 periods, and people are like, "Yep, he's the new starter."
Well, I think, you know, coming in cold and not allowing a goal against the Tampa Bay Lightning is impressive. You can't fault people for that.
And, like, not just making the saves, but, like, they were ridiculous saves.
Yeah.
That, if he didn't make them, you couldn't be like, oh, Wool cost them the game. But he made them. That's the gig, man. That's the gig. I worried a little bit that there would be regression in Samsonov because, again, he led the league or whatever.
He had a crazy season last year.
In high danger save percentage or slot save percentage or something. You know, you fall just a few points in that category. You're giving up a lot more goals.
Mm-hmm.
This will correct itself. But even if it corrects itself, I still don't know if he's the starting goalie of this team anymore.
Even now.
Which is fine because you have 2.
Because you have 2.
You have a 1A and a 1B. That's perfectly fine.
I have to admit, I'm surprised Sammy got 4 of the first 5 starts. I don't know if that was the plan. That like Woll is getting the start tomorrow in Washington. They said that was always the plan, but Sheldon Keefe sure seemed to imply that he's going to get more.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be Woll against the Blackhawks last Monday. Like I thought that's when Woll would have come in.
Wasn't it?
Was it?
I think, Woll played against the Blackhawks, but they lost.
Oh, that was his game? I thought it was the next one. My bad.
Yeah, that was his game. Sammy, I'm sure, wanted the game against Washington, but I think that might be old hat.
Yeah.
Like, we're moved on. We're over a year.
And that's a scheduled start, by the way, right?
It's a scheduled start.
He's supposed to start.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, mid-season arrives fast, and people are getting impatient, including the head coach.
Now, Keefe did say after I think after practice, it wasn't even before. Sorry, it was before this game that they were talking about. Well, when do they think he'll start pushing? And he's like, "Oh, he's pushing."
Yep.
So that at least gives you a little bit of a shot of what the coach thinks. The Leafs sort of dominated this game top to tail. Like you can find me 5 minutes where maybe they weren't on their game or whatever. Sure. But when you outshoot a team 50-33, I guess they got outshot in the second period 12-10.
Some of that score effects because you're trailing.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a huge differential. I do feel like that they controlled a lot of it, and I think. What was very, very interesting after they put together the Marner, Matthews, Nylander line, which looked really good. What a surprise. Was the Knies and Domi chemistry that they found.
Couldn't believe that.
Matt Knies got his first 2 regular season goals, and he scored his first goal against playoff Florida last year.
Mm-hmm.
Amalie, by the way, is where he lost his NCAA championship. Was it championship or semis? I forget where they were.
No, it was the final.
It was the final. They lost in OT. Then he goes to Toronto, plays a few regular season games, like 2, because they couldn't fit him in under the cap.
2 or 3, yeah.
And then he goes back and has to play and wins that first round. He said this about Domi. He said he sees the ice really well, has incredible sauce that can pass by 3 or 4 sticks and then land right on your tape, and it's pretty incredible to watch. Those 2 goals, by the way, guys, 2 minutes and 21 seconds apart.
Wow. Wow.
It seemed like Knies needed a goal, and it seemed like Domi needed some points, didn't it?
Well, Knies was at least playing well, right?
Yeah.
Domi was not at all. Like, he was a non-factor. He's not a good defender, and he was not generating shit offensively. So it was really, really bad. And it got to the point where the broadcast is like, well, he's moving his feet now. Like, they're really grading on a curve. And then, sometimes luck meets effort in the middle. And he makes that pass to Matthew Knies. It's a nice pass. Nick Perbix probably should have had that. Probably should have picked it off. But he didn't. It gets across to Knies. I don't know why I didn't see this combination. It's a match made in heaven. Knies is a finisher. Domi is a playmaker. It's kind of great, and both can kind of rattle your cage a little bit. I am curious to see how they keep them together.
And who centers that regularly?
Tavares, ? Domi, ?
Maybe Domi?
It's a really weird one.
Because it's not going to be Kampf.
No, it's definitely not going to be Kampf. So does Nylander...
Or is it Kampf and Pontus Holmberg does the 4th line?
Absolutely not. No. What has David Kampf shown outside of 5 games early last regular season that he could play in an NHL top 6? No.
Well, what if it's the 3rd line?
He can barely play in the bottom 6 right now.
What if it's the 3rd line?
No. The 3rd line in a pinch if people are hurt.
Hold on. Knies, Domi, Kampf? You don't like that?
No. No. Just straight up no. What a random... That is the sort of line... that is the sort of line that would be in... Oh, because I have a side rant for later, but that is the sort of line that would be great in the old video games where they're like, you need one of each type of player up front so you have maximum chemistry.
Yeah.
How does... What?
Am I gonna break your heart to tell you that Knies, Domi, Kampf was the line that scored both goals?
Yeah, but...
Are you aware of that?
I know Kampf had an assist on the second.
He was on for both goals.
I know he was on for both goals.
That was the line they were running.
Yeah, but what was his impact on the first one?
That was the line that was out there.
You want to roll out a second line with David Kampf as the center? No.
Third line.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Why would that be the...
So what's the second line then?
Tavares is on it.
Nylander.
Tavares, Nylander.
And who cares? Yarncroke.
Yeah. Callie.
I could be talked into it.
The hell is your problem? Why are you talking about this?
That's a defensively responsible line.
Why do you think this is the second line?
Because my coffee didn't work today, so I'm grumpy. I might do... This might be a 2-coffee show. I very rarely have a 2-coffee show.
What's wrong with Kampf, Domi, Knies?
So my bone to pick with Kampf is just he hasn't been very good. And you know what? It's Ryan Reeves' fault. It's Ryan Reeves' fault. It's all his fault. Are we going to get into that?
Well, the fact that the 4th line led the entire game in expected goals.
Did they really?
That's so irrelevant.
Ryan Reeves, John Klingberg are the 80% expected goals 5-on-5.
That's so irrelevant.
No, it's relevant.
So what?
Because if it's relevant one way, it has to be relevant the other.
Well, I was getting...
And Jesse, you haven't done this, but you can't use expected goals as a reason not to play Ryan Reeves and then not trumpet it when he when he
Anybody
leads
who's
the
doing
entire
that
game.
needs to stop.
Leads the entire game.
Don't do that.
Here's the problem with stats in the beginning of the regular season. Like, I know it's small.
They have to be taken on balance.
Yeah. But the sample size grows with each passing day.
And Reeves is going to have an 80% expected goals along with Klingberg the rest of the year.
But it becomes whack-a-mole? No, so you're talking about the positive.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, people won't talk about how Reeves was incredible against Tampa. Like, I don't really care how Reeves was against Tampa. What I want to focus on is people are like, oh, he's been on for 4 goals against. I would love someone to point out how any of the 4 goals are his fault. He's like directing traffic against with Kampf and Gregor, who are confused because Klingberg misplayed it. Brody blows a tire on one of them. Like, guys, it's numbers do tell you a story, but we don't need to make things up. We don't need to make things up that we know are based in poo. It's based in poo. Yes, he's been on the ice for 4 goals. Well, Kampf was on the ice for 2 goals for. Therefore, I think offensive juggernaut. You know what? As long as we're doing small sample sizes, if that's what David Kampf can do in 2.5 minutes, imagine what he could do if you play him half a fucking hour a night. Let's do it.
30 minutes of Kampf?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Is that an unreasonable take based in garbage? Oh, good. Well, won't be doing that anymore. You know what I mean?
Said nobody, by the way.
Said nobody.
No one ever says, you know what? I've made a mistake. I've erred. And I need to change my way.
With the Ryan Reeves expected goals thing, does it take into account that he had 1-minute shift in the third period?
I think
that he had 1 minute and 30 of ice time in the second?
What you need to know, Jesse.
After the first period, the dude played 2 minutes and like 30 seconds.
Hey, Jesse, the thing about
So
it
what is his expected goals stat? Doesn't
is
make
that
sense.
it's an 80% expected goals.
Does everyone know what a fourth line
I'm
does?
sorry.
Why don't we...
Sorry, fuck your Kucherov, fuck your Matthews, your Nylander, your Marner. Fuck them all. Ryan fucking Reeves
I don't
and
think
John
that
Klingberg.
That applies to the guy.
There are different kinds of fourth lines, and sometimes your fourth line has a little bit more skill on it. It's not necessarily specialized, but you're able to roll the lines a little bit more. Okay, that's fine. Then there are your fourth lines that are a little bit more traditional fourth lines that you roll out there in the first period so they can go and just go insane and skate 1,000,000 miles an hour into and through everybody, bang and crash and smash against the boards and rag the puck in the defensive end and in the offensive end and just be hellions on ice. And then in the third period, oh, where are they? On the bench, where they belong. What the fuck? They're the fourth line.
This is good, by the way, because we've had for too long coaches, and Keefe isn't one of those guys, but the way they played last year, they still, and in the last few years, Dubas very clearly wanted the fourth line to be a factor even in the fourth period.
Not coaches.
Which is
we
fine.
had a general manager who wanted to build 4 lines that could all do something that he saw in his chart.
And that's just not... I don't know that it's not possible, but I don't think it's possible with the Stars making as much as they're making. And so when you have that situation, like with Babcock, remember... in the playoffs, Matthews would only get 18 minutes because we had to make sure that the minutes were even, right? And that, so people are asking where the fourth line is in the third period. I don't care. And people are like, well, what if they get tired? I'm like, they're 25.
Isn't that what the trade deadline is for?
Yeah.
So that you can accrue cap space or whatever, you manage the cap.
Well, the
so
Leafs can't do that because they're an LTIR.
Well, I know. But at some point throughout the season, you figure it out so that you can spend like a 4th round pick on someone who will help out your team. It doesn't need to be Lafferty, Kampf, Aston Reese immediately. Because that's when it was in the playoffs.
And what did that do?
It was pretty good. That was a responsible version of where they went out there and they just banged and crashed and caused hell.
Yeah.
Achari was out there sometimes. I'm trying to remember. Because Lafferty would come out of the lineup and Aston Reese would come out of the lineup. But they all played like a traditional fourth line. Dude, it's October. How are we talking about this? They fucking won.
We got to talk about something.
We do got to talk. Well, let's talk about the win.
Let's talk about the OT winner from Willie and JT, who are...
And Sergachev.
Well...
Big assist.
Come on.
The Leafs... The
Attaboy McGill.
The Lightning did not have a shot in overtime. Did not have a single shot. Now, Hagel threw it over the net. They had an opportunity,
yeah,
but no shot on goal. And
the Leafs dominated.
Well, yeah. And you know what's funny? They put Matthews, Marner, and Riley out there. And I said to my wife, I'm like, oh, man, they're in trouble. Because
I know.
They've been objectively bad in overtime forever. They were great.
They're not good to start. And Matthew.
Geez, could it be not putting out your best players in overtime?
Man, maybe. No, dude. They're a liability. Like, at times.
But they weren't this time.
They weren't in this one. Mm-hmm. We need to talk about what a goddamn barbarian Auston Matthews has been in every minute of every game he's played.
He's been amazing.
It was fantastic.
He had like a 2-minute shift to start overtime or something stupid.
Yeah.
And like he looked fine.
Was that a power play?
No,
that was the end.
No, not at all.
It was a power play somewhere. Where he was out there for there was like a minute 30 shift.
A penalty kill. Like,
yeah, he was
Sheldon,
great.
Sheldon is. It's going to be a challenge now that he's on the penalty kill to like keep his ice time down.
I think that's the point.
I know but like you can't be. I think as a coach, it's tempting to play one of the best players in the world half an hour a night.
Yeah.
And you can't do that for 82 games. Like at some point you're going to have to manage it a bit. We've seen him score 60 goals. This is the best I've ever seen him play. Like as a complete 200-foot player. He's the Tasmanian devil out there. He's fucking unstoppable. It's awesome.
The takeaways are crazy. That's the thing I'm noticing a lot. Neutral zone takeaways.
They can't take
Mark
the puck
Stone
off.
level.
They can't take the puck off him, and they're terrified when he's out there on the penalty kill. Dude, it's awesome.
The dipsy doodle he had in overtime where he took the puck and he went between his legs and then he didn't finish. Like that would jerseys might have like burned to the ground of how hot fire that was.
Sergachev would have died.
good.
And then Mitch going out and doing a spinorama out in front.
That was sick.
Yeah.
They were all just playing
was so
around, and the
cool.
Leafs
He
at
looked-
3-on-3 are really fun.
He's battling a bit, but I kind of like what I'm seeing out of Mitch.
He's going to
Yeah.
people are, and I think rightfully so, not being hard on Mitch Marner because you know what he's capable of.
Yep.
And you could just see it's bubbling under the surface. This is not probably the start he wanted, but he hasn't been bad. It's just he's not been his usual dominant self. And that's okay.
He'll be fine.
Because William Nylander and John Tavares became the second set of Leaf teammates in the past 30 years to begin the season with 5-game point streaks.
Whoa.
And by the way, do you want to just look at their stats for a second? Because I don't think people are really giving enough to these two.
They've been
I know.
fantastic.
William Nylander, 5 games, 4 goals, 5 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Woo!
John Tavares, who people have wanted to run out of town for 3 years for some reason, has started the season with 2 goals and 7 assists for 9 points.
I'm
pretty
amazed.
good, right?
I'm amazed that elite talent can find ways to put up points.
The funny thing about those stats is that it feels like it too. Like when you watch it, they seem like they're all over the ice, and whenever they're on the ice, they're dominating. Especially Willie. Willie's been fantastic, and then JT's just sitting there cleaning everything up and driving play. They've been just unreal.
The one thing I want to draw attention to, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, especially with Willie and JT, is once they've transitioned and then they are entering the opponent's defensive zone. So when they're on offense, the back passing doesn't happen until after the blue line now. So, the Leafs were famous for back passing at the blue line and trying to find another route.
Yeah, this is the thing you hate most about the Leafs.
I fucking hated that. And they all teams have to do is position 5 guys on the blue line and stand there, and you can break that up.
Well, because it would slow you down too.
And it led to a bazillion offsides. I would love to know which team leads the league in offsides. I would love to know that. I think that's an interesting stat. The Leafs did it a lot, and on rushes too.
I think you might actually be able to find that stat. Let's super not do it.
Jesse looking, but all the same, what I'm seeing now is that they've pushed that up a couple feet, so the puck carrier carries the puck in, and then they drop it, and then it creates an offensive opportunity rather than let's throw it back to center and see if we can break in here. So maybe we'll have a shot at an offensive break. And I think that it's not that you can't do a drop pass at the blue line; it's that you can't do it every time.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them trying some new things, and they have a new offensive coach. It seems to be working.
It basically became back pass. Are they going to enter on the right or on the left? Ooh.
And then we're down. And it was funny because it was almost like watching Super Mario. When we go over to your friend's house and they have Mario's got 3 lives left.
Whoa.
He's got 2 lives left. It's like the Leafs. It's like, okay, they've got 3 players back. Oh, now they got 2 players back. Oh, they're down to their last player. They're going to have to make a move now. They're going to have to drive.
And it was always funny to watch, and then it worked. on like a defenseman, and I just watch like you're an idiot. Like
Yeah,
watch game tape.
Yeah, have you ever seen this? The most predictable team in the league.
Like what the?
It worked. I mean, they have a crazy offense, but I think a lot of that's down to the insane talent they have on offense.
Like it's not going to him, right? This is okay. Well,
All right, what-
Yeah, sure. Follow him. Go ahead.
I got offside stats. What do you want?
Do you have from last year who
Yeah.
led the league in offsides?
The New York Rangers.
Really?
They had a total of 185.
So Leafs are
offsides.
what, top 10 there?
They are, let me count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11th.
Place in total offsides last year. They had 164 instances of going offside. The New York Rangers led the league with 185.
That's so interesting because you're looking at the top 10 list and you see some really good offensive teams there.
And some
you see
really-
really garbage teams there.
Well, no, you
Tells
know what?
you nothing.
You know what they all have in common, though? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a big mishmash of the top and bottom teams in the league. I'll read them off. It's the Rangers, Golden Knights, Panthers, 3 playoff teams. Very
And
good
then
teams.
4.
Colorado, also good in that bunch. And then we get to the Blue Jackets, Sharks,
Bart.
Blackhawks,
Bart.
Islanders, Stars, Canucks, Leafs.
Can you tell me who the last place was? Like
Yeah.
Who was the best?
Blues.
The Blues.
I'll reverse order it. The Blues, Wild, Coyotes, Jets, Flyers, Sabres are the bottom of the group.
And
going
Lightning
32
are 6th
down.
there.
Yeah, and then Lightning are there.
Wow, that's.
It's really you can't really draw any
Can't draw
conclusions
anything.
just looking at it.
I'm
Like,
sure
it's-
somebody could.
yeah. Right now,
I don't give a shit. That's crazy.
I care. I want to know.
if we look at the offside delta, so if we look at from the teams that had offside called for and offsides called against, and what that is, what the
difference.
delta is, the difference is there. The Rangers are 61. The Canucks are 51, and the Leafs are 43.
That tells me something.
Does it?
Yeah.
Because like the Blue Jackets are next at 40. Or they're tied with the Leafs for 43.
It tells me that the Leafs screw up more at the offensive line and can't stop defensive entries.
but we can't really
Three of the final 4 teams from 1994.
there you go.
draw any
There you go.
conclusions because once again it is a collection of some of the best and worst teams in the league. So
I'm really glad.
yeah, I don't think the offsides are telling a bunch of stories, but the Calgary Flames are on the other end. Their offside delta is minus 55, which means that the teams against them were called offsides 250 times, 15 times, and offside 160 for them.
That's
Wow.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So fire linesman if you're a
See?
ban
That delta should be fucking 0. For every team should be fair.
Yeah.
If we're going to call it like refs do, then
That's
it should be
actually
exactly
so true.
even.
Yeah, that's-
You know what?
That's
I
the
called
best
them
point.
offside a bunch of times.
Yeah, we got to make it up on the other end.
It's your turn to get an icing. I called a couple icings that were all close.
And like, man, that would be really, 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 really genuinely stupid, right?
Right.
Right.
It's almost like the way they call it is genuinely stupid.
Man, that's so strange that
Crazy.
you would say that. Why would you say something so brave?
let me just shout out morehockeystats.com for all the offsides numbers there.
Yeah, what you
Shout out
would
them for
wanna
doing
look
some
up-
great numbers.
What you would want to look up is, zone entry success rate.
By the way, last week after the linesman rant, I messaged Scouting the Refs, and I talked about. I said, guys, is there any way that you guys track how many linesmen fake drop the puck?
No chance.
And they were so cool about it. I'm like, no, here's how I worded it.
No
'Cause
one bothers them more than us.
I realized,
Oh
of course,
my God.
I realized that it's a dumb question. Like, let's
That's
be honest.
funny.
But I said, guys, super weird question. Do you keep track of linesmen and how many times they fake drop the puck? I see it all the time. It drives players nuts. Any chance? And then I put in brackets, I know how ridiculous this must look. And they still answered me with a real answer, which I appreciated. And I'm not gonna. I don't think I should just read somebody's DMs without asking them.
Yeah.
But basically, he said we don't track because they don't always show it. But we
That's
would.
true.
They said, I wish we could see which guys are the more frequent fakers or which players end up tossed from the dot more.
They
And
don't
I
have,
think that's interesting.
They don't have face-off like tossing stats. No,
I don't. Scouting the Refs doesn't.
Doesn't know.
Doesn't mean that they don't exist.
yeah.
But I think that'd be interesting too. Like,
you
which are the
should-
guys trying to get the jump early?
You shouldn't bother people who are trying to do real work with your silly question.
Well, they were nice enough to get back to me. So shout out Scouting the Refs.
Did you see the Vancouver Giants wore zebra jerseys to honor referees?
Dude, like, okay, it's It's funny. It's social media funny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The picture is really funny. A clip of it is really funny. Watching an entire game of that, I think, would be an absolute nightmare.
I can't believe they wore those for the game.
Yeah,
What
so
for the whole game?
there's a clip of them playing. It is legitimately them
That is
in
funny.
referee uniforms playing.
What's the ref wearing?
White.
White?
So he's wearing
Like
a
an
white
NBA
shirt.
guy.
Yeah. You can see him in the corner there. Over there in the corner. He's wearing a white shirt.
I need to know more than I need to breathe. What were the penalties in that game?
What do you mean?
Like 10 for Spokane, -2 for Vancouver.
If there was a reason to get rid of specialty jerseys, this would have been it. Like, had an NHL team tried to pull this and be like, we're honoring our referees tonight, you know they wouldn't have had a penalty called against them for the next 10 games.
I got so many.
like, that would be the reason.
I got so many tweets about this, and all of them were Adam Wilde is punching the air right now. Adam Wilde's so mad watching this.
Well, they were honoring the refs, not the linesmen.
I want to know what the Boston Bruins are doing playing the Spokane Chiefs.
By the way, I got a couple
Look at all
DMs.
them.
Got a couple offended linesmen in my DMs.
Yeah.
And both, actually, it was only like 2 guys who were like, as a former linesman, I agree with you. We didn't really do much.
Dude,
Okay.
Adam, I gotta say, like
don't.
Jesse and I were sitting here while you're going off on banning all linesmen, and we're like, well, Adam's about to have a bad mentions day. And I could not believe the overwhelming support you got.
Well, because they don't.
I don't know if it was
Someone's like,
overwhelming.
they break
It was
up fight.
way more than half.
There's people on both sides.
But
I
there
think a
were
lot
more
of people
people.
saw how ridiculous it was, the idea was.
Maybe people were like, I mean, who the fuck would get mad at that? Like, it's just, it's a really funny
Were the people
suggestion.
against it like Bess Jacali on Instagram or Barry Hazier? Is that are those guys? Were they coming in and sticking up? That's nice.
Larry Detman.
That's right. Larry Detman doesn't like this. Interesting. Luke Fox pointed out that Steven Stamkos, who by the way has been embroiled in the contract situation,
Future Leaf, yeah.
he said unusual that Steven Stamkos was not made available to reporters Friday or Saturday in advance of the game. He's been in a traditional go-to interview for these Lightning Leaf showdowns. From Toronto, contract's up at the end of the year. Lightning are like, we're not really sure. We want to evaluate. And I think it was Frege on 32 Thoughts that said there's people that would not be heartbroken to see him go.
2 teams in 5 games.
So he clarified that the quote like on a future episode where he was like, I was referring to because of how it was handled last time where they were willing to let it go to free agency. It doesn't mean like this time they're okay to see him let it go. So it wasn't as dramatic. He downplayed. He like walked it back.
Okay.
A little. Yeah.
Still dramatic.
Sure,
Still a dramatic
but he
story.
wasn't-
Fair enough. Fair enough.
This is the
I can't see people disliking Steven Stamkos. That doesn't seem...
No.
No, it doesn't seem
no
like a thing.
But is this not the second time in 5 games that a team has?
Well, okay, that was Bedard. And Bedard wasn't allowed... Bedard was made available the day before or something.
Yeah, he talked on Sunday.
Yeah.
He also
Yes.
talked to Sean McKenzie before the game.
Yeah, that's different. The Connor Bedard stuff, he was made available. Then they had
But day of the game, he was not.
They had a complete off day
'Cause
and
they
then-
didn't come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then wasn't he not made available after the?
Yeah, he after the game, he was not made available. Yeah, which
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
think was a big deal.
And then Stamkos is made unavailable, and like
Well, it's because they don't want it to be a big story. Tampa does not want that.
take a pay cut.
So you want
Take a pay
them?
cut.
Well, it's not
You
up to
want
Steven.
them to volunteer to make it a big story.
What?
Like you want them to just sign up for, hey, blow this out of proportion, Toronto.
No, we
Like,
want as few big hockey stories as possible.
No, if I'm the Tampa Bay Lightning, I say no. I'm going to avoid this situation, and I'm given the option to. I'm not going to sign up for everybody in Toronto media to make this a big thing.
Oh, sounds like they should have spoke to their team captain during the summer, but they chose not to.
What we need Steven Stamkos to come out and do is, Julian Breezewall is a liar, and I will never play for the Tampa Bay, or I want to be traded to the Clippers.
Yeah, that's what happened in the NBA, and they're just tanking.
Man, that is a great story.
And do it
dude,
in
like-
China.
Like, that was wild, dude. I woke up to that.
Yeah, because he did it over in China. It was in the middle of the night.
I got sleep in my eyes. I'm like, is this a deep fake?
And it was at
What is
it was at like a kids camp.
Yes. Yeah. And
Daryl Morey is a liar, and
then
I will
everybody's
never
like-
play for him.
everybody's like, well, he gave me tickets, so I better clap. Better clap for him. There's like an applause afterwards. I'm like, Daryl Morey's one of the most liked guys.
But
I can't believe that.
There was, you could tell everyone there was like, did we fucking just hear that right? And so he repeated himself.
Yes.
But all I'm saying is, like, I understand wanting to protect your players. I get that. I would be curious how the media members of other markets feel, because the Tampa Bay Lightning feel safe making their star players available to you because why? You're irrelevant and no one reads you? Like, what is it? What's the problem?
Well, they don't want it to be a bigger story than it already is.
Then just no one cover anyone ever.
Well,
don't televise the games. You're in show business. Embrace it.
That's unfortunately the NHL does forget that. And I think, when we say that, it's not because we're trying to target you as a Lightning fan. It's because every piece of drama should be amplified because it is drama. It is, and it's going to draw more people in.
Yes.
Right? And that's...
Yes.
I don't know. That's how I feel.
Remember...
I'm all about bring on the show. Let's go.
Remember how good it felt? How good it felt in 2016 when everyone's like, Stamkos, he's coming to the Leafs. He's coming to the Leafs. He's going to go. He's going to leave the Lightning. He's coming to the Leafs. And then he didn't.
Great story.
All that build up to... And now he's staying. He's staying... He made the Stanley Cup final. They didn't win, and now he's staying to finish the job. And then he did twice in heroic fashion.
And scored, he had one shift in one of the finals and scored.
And
then
he
couldn't
scored! And now it's a problem? Now it's, what, you didn't like it? You didn't like that story the first time?
I think they like the story when it benefits them. And if you're PR for Tampa, you're like, nah, that doesn't benefit us. Why would we make him available?
No, and listen, I'm not insulting. I know the Tampa PR person. I'm
total
not,
dick, right?
Right.
He was crazy enough to give me a Marlies press pass when he was here in Toronto.
Wow.
In 2008.
Wow.
So
hold on.
Genuinely bad idea.
Are you saying
but thank you.
The Lightning PR guy is a Leafs fan?
No, I'm pretty sure he's not. I don't actually know. But all I'm trying to say is, listen, no one is condoning a reporter doing something like outing a player's medical condition. Of course, the Toronto media has crossed the line. This is a relevant story. It's a relevant story because Stamkos made it one, by the way, in front of cameras. At the first opportunity he had to do so,
because
at camp
he wanted to send a message through the media,
and now
and you know what, this all could have been avoided had Julian Breezewa picked up the phone and said, Steven, we're not signing you to an extension until the end of the year. But he didn't even call him.
Steve, I think what you're asking for is them not to have the option to avoid the media. Because right now, given the option, you would never ask that PR person to, go amplify this story that Steven Stamkos doesn't want to talk about publicly right now. The story that Julian Breezewa doesn't want to talk about. Yeah, go to the Toronto media and talk about that. But no, since they're given the option right now to hold them back from the media, they're going to take it. It makes sense.
Sure.
It makes sense that they made this decision. What you're asking for is league rules that would say he's not allowed to avoid the media.
No, that's not what I'm asking for. I would never want a player to be forced to speak to the media.
Right.
I would never want that. What I want is for them to want it.
You want Steven Stamkos to want to stir up this controversy again.
Listen, I understand.
I'm trying to figure out what you're asking.
No, I get what you're asking. I think, as a captain, you have to understand this is what you signed up for, dude.
When he went, here's what I think, Steve, to back you up. When Steven Stamkos opened training camp with his comments, he had to accept the fact that throughout the entire season, yes, even in Toronto, you're going to be asked about it, right? You have to accept that.
Yeah, he gets in front of the camera and says all those things.
It's not like
it's like the bike in the stick
rumor.
meme.
He came out and said it.
It's like the bike in the stick meme. Like he stuck the stick in his bike wheel and went, "Oh, fucking Toronto media! You did this. What are you talking about?"
Right now, the way the rules are in place, he does not have to talk to the Toronto media.
No, he doesn't.
Which is totally fine. It's his prerogative, and it's the team's prerogative.
So he took that option that was given to him.
Right. And
I see nothing wrong with that.
It sucks. Stay irrelevant and stay at the bottom. Enjoy your cute little McAfee friggin'. Oh gosh, Hockey Willikers, like, isn't hockey neato? Fucking joke of a segment, like, and that's not like insulting him or the company. It's insulting the fact that hockey is so deeply, bitterly irrelevant in so many North American markets that they have to even have that. Mm-hmm. When was the last time you saw anything that was like, here are the rules of basketball? Like, never. Never.
Basketball is awesome.
Yeah, basketball is awesome. Let me sell you on it.
There was a little of that. There was a little of that when the Raptors came to Toronto, but that's when they came to Toronto. They weren't a 100-year-old sports franchise spectacle like the NHL is, right? Mm-hmm. So
also, Swifties are doing a great job explaining NFL to other Taylor Swift
Swifties.
fans.
They're doing amazing.
Like
I am straight up learning.
Yeah.
I'm straight up learning football because of Swift.
Yeah, the more she attends the games, the more Swifties that become NFL fans.
By the way,
they're teaching them.
He had an unbelievable first half yesterday.
He did,
Who has him in the football pool?
I've learned
Justin does.
Oh, I hate him.
I've learned that his his yards per game have like doubled since they started dating publicly.
That's ridiculous.
Or something. All I'm saying, like, listen, I perfectly understand the Lightning and Stamkos not wanting to put themselves in
front of Steve Simmons.
In front of
that's
Is taking his Saturday night to go down to the Leafs game? I don't think so.
But like,
I think he's getting his gotcha quotes in. I don't think he goes every game.
No,
he writes. I doubt he's on the road. He might be. Mm-hmm. I doubt he's on the road. But
yeah,
but
they got
getting cut everywhere. But I just feel you're a star player in this league. You're a captain in this league. And if they ask you about a relevant story, thank your lucky stars that there is one. Mm-hmm. 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 It's show business. Mm-hmm. It's show business. Like what? Like imagine every time the Leafs lost, like the season they finished last, they're just like, all right, we're just not sending anyone out there because what if you're mean to them? What the fuck? You got to sell tickets. Mm-hmm. What are you talking about?
Well, and Toronto does. I mean, this was in Tampa, but Toronto does hold people accountable for that. The closest thing I could think about that was Salute-gate, when apparently the Leafs said, we're not saluting the crowd because they were mean to us. And then they skated off, and then the media asked them about it, and none of them would talk about it. And then, because it was like the win. That team was a win team for sure.
Yeah.
And then the next game and forever after, they fucking saluted the fans.
It was Stellick, I think. He went on the air, and he was like, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. They did this on purpose. And it became a thing. And like,
Salute-gate was crazy.
I want to get a documentary done on Salute-gate. Like, give me 20 minutes on what the fuck happened, man. Interview everybody.
Well, and like, listen, I understand, people are throwing jerseys on the ice. Mm-hmm. They're throwing waffles on the ice. They're, sending mean tweets and everything. But how dare you intentionally spurn the fan base?
The paying customer.
Like the paying customer, the people watching at home, the 20,000 people who made their night, you. And you won like 1 or 2 out of 5 games. Fuck you. Like in retrospect, fuck you. Like for doing that. I understand where the feeling comes from, but like in any other industry, can you do that?
No.
Like you think Adam got treated super nice at Shoppers Drug Mart every day? Or like at the zoo.
Doesn't mean I can stand at the front and flip off customers.
Yeah. Like, hey.
Although that
I don't know.
I would go to that Shoppers Drug Mart just to get flipped off because I think it'd be funny.
Yeah. I can't. I think back to all the times when I was at the Toronto Zoo wearing my little apron full of money at the camel ride. And I was like, sir, can you fucking relax? Sir, can you stop being a dick? Like, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
There's value to having a real job.
There you go. There you go. I want to move on to a couple of quick things before we move off of the Leafs. Leafs get their first win without a Matthews hat trick.
Whoa!
Of the
I didn't
season.
even notice that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's
you
good.
love that stat.
Fraser Minten was a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
The rumor is if he goes back to the Blazers, which he will, he's expected to be captain. So
cool.
Might be time to send him back.
Yeah.
But hang on to that thought.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I feel like they're holding off, the reason I feel like they might hold off for a few more weeks.
Is it a salary?
No, it's a listen. If it was a salary, they could figure it out. They have Brandon Pridham. It's Nicholas Robertson, who has 3 goals and 3 assists in 4 games with the Marlies.
Fire.
And
Got rocked.
I wanted to talk to you because you guys talked about on Friday, like what that third line should look like, and is how should it look and whatever. And this is before Knies and Domi matched up, and we'll see if they get launched together tomorrow against Washington.
Domi Kampf.
Sorry, did I say
Maybe.
that?
No, I'm just saying that's the best third line in the business.
No, he's making fun of me.
Oh, okay, all right.
And he should. He should. He's right.
But would and I'm going to propose this, Knies, Domi, Robertson not be a fun third line?
You put a playmaker with 2 finishers and you shelter them.
What's the average height?
Oh God, that's a good question.
Well, okay, you have
Gotta be one of the
Knies.
smaller lines in the National Hockey League.
No, Knies is like 6'2".
Yeah, and then you get Domi and Robertson out there.
Yeah, but Domi's like 5'10", but he's a tall 5'10". Or Adam, you've met him. 5'10"? What?
What's wrong?
I was just trying to look it up, and I searched it. Okay, and one of the things that I can't do in my head is I don't know what 1.75 meters looks like.
Oh, I have
So
no
I
idea.
wrote Max Domi feet.
Oh, no!
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? 5'10". Max Domi's 5'7".
So there's a
Yeah, but
bunch
he's
of
a
pictures.
bulldog.
of Max.
Adam.
I'm sorry. I was trying.
I'm trying to move on from Max Domi's feet.
There are results. I want you to know that. Like somebody has categorized these and tagged them. So
Is it the Trump socks?
no, it's not. It's not the Trump sock.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Nick Robertson, 6 point, and I wonder if they're like, let's get because he was interviewed a couple days ago, and I think it was it Nick Barden that had it,
I think it was.
where he was saying like they're using me in every situation, and for a guy that's had injuries and COVID and all the other things that he's had, and had a real close call.
He got hit
Saturday.
high.
Oh yeah, yeah, and thankfully he's fine and back on the bench and everything. If you get 10 quality games out of him, and he's got 15 points in 10 games, do you not give it a shot at in
100%.
November for the Leafs?
And like for as much as I want him to develop and play games in the AHL, I don't have a stat to prove this, but I'm pretty sure the chicken shit plays per capita is higher in the American Hockey League.
Yes.
So the risk of him getting hurt there, I think, is greater, believe it or not.
I think
I would love that line. I think it'd be neat.
I think that's why the Leafs had guys like Rich Clune and Ross Johnson. I
and
mean,
they
wherever Lou goes, Ross Johnson's got to go. But
They have a pretty tough team down there. You have to. You have to have a tougher team in the American League than you would have in the NHL. It's the way it works.
right, because guys are trying to get jobs and they're targeting the best players.
Yes, the chicken shit plays per capita. Like not every market even has like the broadcast quality to like review plays properly.
Yeah.
Like for suspension.
Jesse, do you have something there that you would
Hockey Reference said Nick Robertson is 5'9", Domi is 5'10", and then Matthew Knies is 6'2".
Yeah.
So that averages out to about 6 feet.
Robertson's not that small. Like I've
yeah,
met
no,
him.
no.
He's pretty thick.
That's okay.
He's
Cool
he's
spreadsheet though, Matt.
He's
Appreciate it.
broad. He's broad.
Yeah.
I have no worries about that line. Nice trucked a guy against. Was it against Tampa? He smashed someone. It was really good.
I don't think it was Saturday. Was it Saturday?
It was either the Florida game or the Tampa game.
Yeah.
It was one of those games.
No, Knies is a big dude.
Yeah, I'd give it a shot.
You try that?
There's
That
82
third line?
games.
And
why
if
not?
you're,
That's so many games.
let's say they're going to take a defensive zone face-off. Could you not switch out one of the wingers for Yarncroke for that face-off?
That's
And you got
exactly
some,
what
Is,
You got
is
some babysitting.
Domi the center we want driving the third line?
Well,
sometimes it's the center you have.
it's him or Holmberg.
Right. Which Pontus didn't look out of place. He didn't play a lot, so can't really judge his game on Saturday, but
The home dog looked good.
They seem
did okay.
pretty.
He didn't play.
They seem pretty outspoken about how much they didn't like him in the preseason. Which
But they liked his. But Keefe was on record saying how much he liked his game against Tampa, and
Yeah.
he didn't play that much. Jesse,
Yeah.
you're right. But he was like, I thought he was really strong.
So yeah,
Okay.
it's a confusing one. I mean, I think guys are going to get looks, right? I think they're going to try a lot of players just to see how they play. Bobby McMahon, I wouldn't be surprised to see up with the team, who's out again, by the way. But Nick Robertson is probably first up.
How into AG1 is Jesse Blake? Well, he's wearing a Lewis Hamilton shirt.
Yes.
And
Lewis Hamilton is a proud drinker of AG1.
There you go.
Myself. I also, we've never talked about this on the show. I signed an AG1 bottle at our most recent live show.
You did?
Oh, he did.
One of our
I
listeners
saw
brought
it.
their AG1 bottle and I signed it for them. So every morning they look at my signature when they take their powder and they scoop it into their bowl.
Now, in case you don't know, AG1 is a foundational nutritional supplement that delivers comprehensive nutrients to start the whole day.
The whole
The
day.
whole day.
Not part of the day.
It's your it replaces your multivitamin. It replaces your probiotic and more in one drinkable habit. And Jesse's into it.
Does it make words easier?
It doesn't, actually, unfortunately. I've been struggling with that my entire career. But if you don't want to struggle and you want AG1, a comprehensive solution is what you can add to your routine. And if you try AG1, you're going to get a free 1 year supply of vitamin D, especially good, this time of year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sun going down
Very
early.
important.
And 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/SDP. That's drinkag1.com/SDP. Check it out. This show is brought to you by, in part, BetterHelp. Now, BetterHelp is one of those places that you can go. There are many places you can go to find online therapy, but BetterHelp's one of the interesting ones because you get matched with somebody very quickly. Usually when you make the decision, okay, I think I need some help.
Yeah.
You're already at a point where you're probably past you need it. You know what I mean? It's sort of
like water.
Yeah. If you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a little like that. For people that haven't tried it before, I always find that it takes them. It has to be really bad for them to try it. And the truth is, life doesn't need to be that bad for you to try something like this. And for you to see massive benefits. We're talking about solving problems and creating boundaries with your family and friends. We're talking about how to manage your day, something that I kind of struggle with and therapy actually helped with was how to manage a schedule. Because I was terrible and late to everything and still mostly late to things, but sometimes on time.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, it's me. I was looking at you like that. You were looking at me like that. It also helps with not taking things personally that aren't meant to be. So here's what we want you to
Sounds like
do.
the two of you should have a joint code, Maybe the both of you get on this.
We're just going to get
better help here and get a therapist together.
We're just going to have to get in one of those dust cloud fights from the Looney Tunes. So here's what it is. BetterHelp helps you with your brain and it'll help you regulate things and help you learn a little bit about yourself too. You can do it over text. You can do it on voice call. You could do it on phone call, whatever you're more comfortable with. And if you don't love your therapist, if you're not connecting, it's okay. They can match you with somebody new pretty quickly because you got to vibe with that person. So make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/SDP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/SDP. Moving off of the Leafs and the Lightning, because there is a lot to get to around the NHL. This is broken as of the recording of this show, so you very likely heard it, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Rick Bowness is taking a leave of absence from the Winnipeg Jets because Sunday evening, Judy Bowness, his wife, suffered a seizure and is currently in hospital undergoing further testing.
That's horrible.
So associate coach Scott Arniel is serving as the interim head coach until Rick returns. And obviously the Jets have asked everyone to respect the family's privacy. So from us at the SDP, for whatever it's worth, our very best goes out to the Bowness family because that is a very, very tough thing.
Of course.
And those hit without warning.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's horrible.
I wanted to. I had to bring it up because it broke while during our Leaf segment.
Yeah, of course.
But now I've got to do a hard right turn into the Edmonton Oilers. So I apologize for this. That's the way it goes. We don't have transitions in podcasting the way they do in broadcast. But Connor McDavid may miss the Heritage Classic.
Sounding pretty likely.
Out 1 to 2 weeks with an upper body injury. It seemed to be either a hip or like something where you flex your
Looks
body.
like it's an oblique.
QL. Yeah, oblique or QL.
So,
what
before we get to the
upper?
Oiler part,
Above the belly button? Like, is that?
I don't
is
know.
that- Yeah.
upper body's got to be just waistband, I would think.
Waistband.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, not a belt. For me, it's a waistband.
Dr. Adam. Figured it out.
No, but I'm looking at this, and there was actually apparently there was somebody on a local Oilers station who was like, well, they you know what, they would be smart to just delay the Heritage Classic. And they're not wrong.
I would vote for that. If that was a public vote for every Canadian, could you delay the Heritage Classic until Connor McDavid comes back? I would vote yes.
It would pass. It would 100% pass. You're right.
Of
What's
course.
wrong? Do it.
That game is not going to be the same without him. Now, there's some interesting wrinkles with this because I want to start with, and I'm going to send you the audio here, Jesse. I don't know if you guys saw the first intermission interview between Scott Oak and Evander Kane.
I did.
Second intermission.
Someone did a podcast on this. Second intermission. Again, can we play this?
I highly doubt it.
Oh, yeah, because it's not press conference, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry,
held
my
back
bad.
on
You're right,
playing
we
it.
can't. So basically, Evander Kane said, well, I wasn't playing much, so I got into a fight and figured I'd sit in the penalty box. Now, he had been dropped to the third line, but I'm thinking with McDavid's injury, you got to think that Leon Draisaitl moves over to center, and Evander Kane is all the way back up where he wants to.
Yeah, by default, Evander Kane is going to get what he wants. He played 3 minutes in the first period, and he was not happy about it, so he went out and fought.
I mean,
Like, I don't know if I've watched enough Oilers hockey
Develop.
this year to go, he's been super bad, but
I've seen Oilers fans talking about not liking his game,
okay.
but also that putting him on the third line is insane.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Remember, I said mid-season arrives quick. Really feels like mid-season in Edmonton. The coach is on edge.
Right.
Goalies can't make a save. Evander Kane is clearly pissed off. You see Leon Draisaitl?
Yes, and I'm going to get, I am going to bring that up.
I have intentionally not watched that clip.
Okay.
So I could watch it here.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send Jesse the clip of what happened on the ice to lead to the Leon Draisaitl clip.
Okay,
Okay.
interesting.
Now, you saw this goal. Dwayne Steinel from Buffalo said, I can hear Steve Dangle screaming while watching this. Have a look at, and I guess we can freeze frame it, Jesse.
I don't.
Have you seen this goal?
Yes, I have. I don't know.
I don't know what
the thought process was.
Don't know what Skinner's doing. Not sure what Nurse is doing, but I feel for Nurse because what's he supposed to do with Skinner out?
Nurse is chasing down the puck, and like the screenshot that we have right there is him changing course because he's like, oh, I guess Stu's going to get it.
And by the way, I'm just going to throw this out there. If you're listening to this, the Oilers were up 2-1. They were out shooting the Jets 25-17. It's 2 minutes left in the second period. So you're going
And they're on the power play.
and they're on the power play, and you're going to the dressing room with feeling really good about yourself. And Stuart Skinner decides to skate out past the center ice, or sorry, not the center ice, skate out past the face-off dot in his own zone to face off against Vlad Nemesnikov, who does have he has some hands. Nemesnikov.
Yeah, but like also
No, that's Iafallo.
That's how I follow.
Nemesnikov cleans it. Iafallo comes around the net, and then he bounces it off of Nemesnikov, and it goes in the net.
So better hands then.
there are a lot of goalies who hate when I talk about this, and they hate the if you're a goaltender, tend the goal thing. I understand the value in goalies playing the puck, but this is like a really low percentage play, man. Like Nurse is. If he's not going to be first on this, he's going to have enough of the player he's defending that he's going to cut off the angle, and it should be an easy save for any goalie.
It just made no sense to make that decision. To
No,
leave
I don't.
Your net.
I don't understand it. Like, and to me, this feels like he was mentally not paying attention, and he thought that puck was coming faster than it was.
I think he just.
So you know when you snap too, when you
miscalculated.
make a bad snap decision because you weren't engaged. That to me is the goaltender just not watching the game close enough, and that happens.
Or just
that's
doing
human
too
nature.
much.
It happens.
Sure.
But what are you doing?
Yeah.
So Nurse has to make a decision. I don't know who's high up in this
I think
particular
it's
play,
Bush. I'm not sure.
but he's not exactly striding. That's a glide.
Well, are they like? Well, I might
And
as
who
well
has he
stay
got?
here.
Who's he got?
Well,
Who's got Nemesnikov?
No, but he
they
was going
shouldn't
for
be
the
playing
puck.
defense right now. They should be
Right,
Like
but-
he's probably like, all right, I'll get the puck once Skinner bats it away. I don't get the play, man. I
So
don't
Jesse,
get the
can you
play.
freeze frame it at the goal whenever the goal happens? Or is it possible to do that? No, not quite.
Oh, they scored? No, I'm joking. Oh dear,
It's just
there's a lot happening there, dude.
Right.
What are you doing?
and you got two Oilers at least at the net trying to defend it.
what are you doing? No,
Skinner looks ridiculous.
Yeah, goalies hate the if you're a goaltender, tend the goal thing. Some of them love it.
What? Wait, hold on. People hate criticism?
Well, like
I'm shocked.
You're so rarely helping. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're so rarely helping, and I understand wanting to help. It's good to want to help. But what percent of those plays pay off?
Here's
the
what
risk
helps.
reward is not there.
It's an unforced error. That's the thing about it. Like
Yes.
it's completely. If you just play it straight, where you stay in your net and you let Nurse try and make a move on the puck, and you play it there, it's not a goal. And that's why this is literally a goal that's direct result of you making a poor decision, and it tied the game and led to you losing it.
Edmonton should have been up 3-1.
In overtime.
Mm-hmm. That's the point. Yeah. Edmonton should have been up 3-1. This allowed Winnipeg to come back, and they won.
Like
we would have forgotten about this.
3-1.
Sorry?
You mean 2-1?
No, Edmonton should have been up 3-1 because they were on the power play. They were expecting to take a chokehold league here, but instead they let Winnipeg back in the game.
You're projecting that they score on
I'm saying
the power play.
expecting to score. If you're the Oilers, you're expecting to score.
2.5-1. Let's meet in the middle. All right? Guys, I hate seeing you.
Guys, the point I'm trying to make is the Oilers are good on the power play.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
hard? Is that, are we,
No,
am I stepping out?
Give him a free goal.
Take?
No, give him a
I
give him a
feel
goal.
like, no, here's the thing. If Skinner stays in his net, at worst, that's just a defensive zone faceoff.
He puts it off like the side of the net.
Yeah,
Like it's not going to be a good shot.
The Jets are off at the end of a PK. They're tired. You could have turned that around very quickly, and instead you've let them in the game, and you go into the second intermission where your coach was going to give you compliments, and then he is probably going to lose his fucking mind.
And when you're playing like this at home, or when you're playing like this, I should say, the way Edmonton has started this season, being at home is like a disadvantage.
Yeah, because
you hear the
nervous.
groan. And like the goalie's got to know, like, oh, and it's me.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I mean?
a lonely position.
It is a lonely position, but it's not just we coughed it up. Ugh, it was me. Everyone's watching me.
Now, Jesse, we do
gotta
have
be lonely.
We have the Leon Draisaitl audio.
One of my favorite stats about the Oilers this season so far is that they have yet to score a goal in the third period. This is a team that also won a game 6-1 versus Nashville like a week ago, and they still haven't scored in the third period.
Wow.
So that's why I'm reluctant to give them any kind of goals here, because they're heading into the third.
That's
where
fair.
When do they play
haven't
the Leafs?
scored.
No, here, we'll fix that. When do they play the Leafs?
Yeah, that'll change.
Yeah.
You want Leon Draisaitl after the game?
Yes, please play.
What do you say to Stewart after he went out to challenge that puck that went around the boards?
What do you want me to say to him? Made a mistake, like, big deal. Yeah, nothing to say to him. We all make mistakes.
That's not that bad a question.
I think that's Leon being pissy.
He was. It's not that great a question, I guess, but it's not. I don't know what I think.
I think that's it's a bit of a gotcha question.
Is it?
There's very little win there, except for the bullshit answer, which is, listen, everybody makes mistakes, which he said.
Yes.
And we support our guys. And so I think that to me, it was a question that definitely was like, I'm going to try to force you to say something that I can put in my article tomorrow. And I don't blame them for that.
Yes, but see, it's interesting because again, I'm giving the media the benefit of the doubt in this one. So I understand not everyone is going to agree with this, but I interpreted that question as you're a leader on this team. So what do you say to calm down your young goalie? I know he's young himself. I guess he's not that young in the NHL anymore. But, he made a mistake. It's still a tied game. They had to do something else after this in order to lose. You know what I mean? So he's a young goalie. He's obviously fighting it, and he made a mistake. What do you, as a leader on this team, say to him to calm him down or something? But Draisaitl,
But he didn't ask that.
No, he didn't.
He said, what do you say to Stewart?
You're right.
After that.
I'm saying no, that's not how he
That's
said
what-
it. Play the
clip.
Hold on, give me a second.
Maybe
Back up.
I misheard the tone. I hope they never change Stuart Skinner's picture on HockeyDB, by the way.
It's hilarious, eh?
That's such a good mustache. Never change it, please.
Good mustache, man. Give me a second.
I want to hear him go, so Leon!
And by the way, that question, I believe, comes from Oilers TV, which is internal.
Oh,
Does it?
shit.
Yeah, I think that's an Oilers TV mic.
Okay.
Let's see. Well,
Maybe I'm wrong.
The mic is there, but who knows if the question asker is holding it.
All right.
And what do you say to Stewart after he went out to challenge?
No,
that puck
so
that
that the person asking the question isn't with the mic.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because the mic is going to get the person with the
Oh,
question.
I see. Okay.
You know,
Sorry.
so the question's being asked, and then
What do
somebody
you say
raises
to
their mic.
Stewart after he went out
So,
to
and
challenge that.
I'm talking over this. Here's the question.
And what do you say to Stewart after he went out to challenge that puck that went around the boards?
Steve, that's how he asked the
what
question.
would
What
say
would
to-
you see to
There's
Stewart?
stank on that question.
No, there's no stank on that
There's
question.
stank
Now,
on that.
I
You just said what? You just did it. What would you say to
no,
Stewart?
I'm mocking it because it's not what he did. Play it again.
One
Jesse,
more
do you
time?
not? Am I crazy?
No, okay, one more time. Here's the question,
All right.
how it was
It
asked.
sounds like Ben. Okay, here, get back to Ben Stein's question. So, what would you say to Stewart?
I'm also a little confused about the debate. Does it have the debate is does it have stank on
Does
it
it
or
have
not?
stank? I
Yes.
think it's got some stank.
That is the question.
Stank or no stank?
Yeah.
Play with us at home.
And what do you say to Stewart after he went out to challenge that puck that went around the boards?
No stank.
That feels a little stank.
That's no
Nothing,
stank.
listen, and there's nothing wrong with some stank. Okay, the guy made a clearly like a stupendous blunder. And you know what I think is
I
interesting
agree.
about the way Leon answers this question is that he admits, which NHL players never do, admits that his goalie made a mistake.
Wow.
When do you ever hear a player say goalie made a mistake there?
It's true. That's
Ever.
true. That's
So
true.
the question's a good question because it did get him to answer that. You never see that.
And you're on it had stank
It
on
had
it. though.
stank. And
I'm-
there
I'm
was
on
a
team
means
no
to an
stank.
end.
I don't know.
And I'm not, and again, please don't take it as I'm attacking the reporter, for God's sakes.
We don't even know who it was.
I don't even know who it was. I'm sure they're a
Relax.
really nice person with a great family. So are we all. I'm just saying the question had a little stank on it. Own the fact.
One more time?
Why do you think Leon? Do you think Leon just reacted that way for no reason?
All right, this time I'm going to play it with the
Maybe.
I'm going to play it with the reply as well. So, stank or no stank, play with us at
You
home.
can't see his face.
Play with us in the comments. Stank or no stank?
And what do you say to Stewart after he went out to challenge that puck that went around the boards?
What do you want me to say to him? Made a mistake, like, big deal. Yeah, nothing to say to him. We all make mistakes.
I think I'm leaning towards no stank.
Oh, there's stank on that.
Let's go.
There's stank.
2-1 democracy.
Well, no one's ever elected the wrong person.
No, never.
So the Oilers have let in through 5 games. Do I need to qualify this anymore?
No, we're all aware that it's only been 5 games.
But
and
do I
that-
need to have 40 people on Twitter tell me every time?
No, there's more than 70 games left in the season. All of this could be irrelevant.
Right.
Because there's 82 games.
Every
Guess
team
what?
that's
It's-
really good right now, every team that's really bad, it could all flip on its head.
Guess
Like,
what, though? It's relevant right now, which is when we're doing the show.
Yes.
So if we did one podcast a year, it would not be relevant, but we do 139. Okay? So we do. It's like 139 or something. It's not even 140. It's some bizarre number.
Okay.
Who has... So the Oilers have let in the 7th most goals in the league so far. Who has, trivia, let in the most, gentlemen?
Damn, it might be the Leafs. Could be the Leafs. They haven't really gotten their asses kicked, though. I'll say the Leafs because it's funny.
The Leafs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 9th in goals. They're 19 and 19. Goals for, goals against. They're even.
Okay.
They're the only team in the NHL that appear. No, they're not.
What is the number of goals?
The number of goals is 30 in 6
Holy
games.
shit! They're averaging 5 goals against.
Yes.
I got 2
And-
guesses, and I'm in between them.
Okay, well, make them both.
Washington.
Okay, good guess. Good guess.
I'm just gonna stick with Washington.
No, give me your other one, though.
My other one was my other guess. I was in between Seattle or San Jose.
Oh, Seattle.
I'm gonna do Seattle.
I'm
So
going
on-
to do Calgary.
So on Washington, let's stick with Washington. It's a good guess because Washington has let in 15 goals, but they've only scored 6. So their delta is a 9.
GD, yeah.
They've only
Well,
scored
definitely.
what?
6 goals in 4 games.
Oh, they only played 4. Huh.
That is bad.
Now, your other guess was the Kraken, Jesse?
Yeah,
And-
because they have a tough start.
Again, a really good one because they are a -10 in goal differential. They've scored 11, let in 21.
Whoa.
But that is only good enough for just 3 spots ahead of the Leafs. So they're about 6th.
Wow.
So 30
left?
goals in 6 games. Who done it?
San Jose?
Not at San Jose either.
No, they don't
San
play
Jose
that.
is just ahead of the Leafs.
I feel like Calgary's allowed a bunch of goals.
They have the 3rd most in the league.
Oh,
23.
nuts.
The second most in the league are the Tampa Bay Lightning with 24. They are.
I think they just played more there. But,
They got 6 games.
6. Yeah, so they're
But so does the Flames, and so does the team that's number 1.
okay. No, but I mean, like in terms of like Seattle and Washington, they're at like 4.
Who did Arizona?
Nope, Seattle's at 6.
Who did
Oh, Seattle's
Arizona-
at 6 too.
Yeah, Washington is, I think, one of the only teams at 4, along with New Jersey and Montreal.
Okay.
And,
Arizona killed someone recently. Was it Columbus?
No. You ready?
Yeah.
It is the Carolina Hurricanes.
What?
Yeah. I didn't think you'd get it.
I don't know a lot of
The
Carolina
most
Hurricanes.
goals in the league?
30 goals against, 28 goals for. They are 3-3.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
outscore your problems.
Now, that's how irrelevant that stat will be because you know that that's going to change. It's the first 10 games.
It'll figure it out. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that
Wow.
nuts?
Yeah.
Thought you'd be-
Wow. I never in a million years. They might have been, if you were, Steve, you get 32 guesses. I think they might have been my 30.
It's what I thought too. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Yeah, but I
Holy
guess it's been
shit.
a bit of a rough.
Maybe them or Vegas.
Maybe
Wow.
they shouldn't have lent Kochekov to the crunch.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, you know what? Maybe they're going to say it's crunch time, and they're going to call him up.
With the Leon thing too, Leon's probably a little even more annoyed because he was the direct. It was his fault that the overtime goal went in.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know if you guys saw that, but like
the Scheifele goal.
it's a coin flip. It's 3-on-3, whatever. Like you can't really take too much away from it. But the reason the goal went in was Leon made a little mistake there.
I'm not criticizing Draisaitl. Like, I think it is a lot to expect players to be their best selves after an overtime loss. You know, and they immediately stick a microphone in your face. I do not envy any player having to do that. I think they should have to do that. You know, Jesse, would it have made sense for the Oilers to protect him in that situation?
Were they given the option? Mm-hmm. If they were given the option to avoid Mark Spector and his questions, maybe they should take it.
I think anytime there's a player that
I don't know if Mark Spector
he
asked any questions.
he might have a bad time.
Oh, he asked
I think
questions.
you go, here you go, little baby. Here you go, little baby.
Stop
Here you
it.
go. Lots of millions to be a
know
very
what?
public person. Baby.
I don't know if you know this, Steve, but this is a players podcast, and we're about the players. So I'm always going to side with the players in every situation.
Give him credit. He spoke to Scott O.
I will absolutely give him credit.
Jesse, I sent you 2 things. The second thing is the one I want you to bring up as we move off of the Oilers because they'll figure it out. I have 0 doubt.
I think so.
Yeah,
But listen, as long as they haven't figured it out, it's a story. I know they will, but it's a story. The NHL had its first player defy the Pride tape ban, which is where we're at right now. This is the wow. Look, now. By the way, league rules state that you can wear any color tape that you want. Travis Dermott always wore Pride tape and has worn it again. And yet they've banned Pride tape, even though Pride is all the colors of the rainbow, hence the idea.
And he didn't make like a big, I am wearing Pride tape because I am an ally, goddammit. He just wore it and played.
Yeah.
The ban made no sense because it says in the rule book you can wear whatever tape you want. You know, that's the first
So
thing.
which takes precedence?
And so what does the ban do? And second thing, I'm going to order a Travis Dermott jersey because when the first player who decided not to participate in the warm-up jersey stuff, their jersey sales spiked. So I'm going to do it on the opposite end, and I'm going to get a Travis Dermott jersey.
Oh, there you go. Get the Kachina.
yeah.
That one
The
is
Kachina's the
right
best
there.
jersey in the league, and I want one.
It's hot. It's hot. Greg Wyshynski. He's been told by the Arizona Coyotes that they have not been informed of any NHL punishment to Travis Dermott or the team for using Pride tape on his stick.
Come on. That was yesterday.
Was told earlier by the NHL not to anticipate anything from hockey ops on the matter anyway. Yesterday, maybe something today. But they had the opportunity to reverse this. And now they have to go against one player and their own rule book in order to enforce it. And I can tell you this. The NHL PR team is quaking in their boots because if they have to enforce and put out a press release that says we have fined or we have sanctioned or we have this. When it comes to Pride tape, it's going to be a disaster. And the NHL knew that and knows that, and they need to find, and from what we've heard anyway, they're looking for a way to gently back off of this so they don't lose faith. The problem is that it is such a thorny issue, as in there's a very easily right side and wrong side to this. It's very hard. They put themselves in a position. It's very hard to step back from this and still look like they know what they're doing, as though or they knew what they were doing when they put the ban in place, which they didn't. That was, to me, like the specialty night jerseys is a separate thing. Like Berkey said on Agent Provocateur, I don't agree with it, but I could see it.
A lot of us understand where it comes from.
The Pride tape thing is like,
no one asked for this.
Yeah.
By the way, tape's not a part of your uniform either.
Even people who are like, keep it out of sports. Like, even no one asked for that.
People who have believed for years that sports were never political.
I've been to the...
I just wish I missed the days when sports weren't political. Never hearing of Jesse Owens. Never heard of Jesse Owens.
Never Muhammad Ali.
Never Jackie Robinson.
No, never.
None of it.
Never, ever.
I miss those days.
I miss those days that never fucking happened. But like, no one in the deepest, darkest corners of your mentions asked for this.
No.
Ever.
Yeah, and the tape too.
And the tape too.
So
I never saw it. It was such a non-issue, and they created one. You know what you could have done? Fucking nothing. You could have done the jersey thing, and people were willing to be like, whoa, I don't like that.
Darn it.
I don't like that, but I at very least understand because you fucked it up so bad last year. So I at very least understand. And with the Pride tape, you could have just, I don't know, it's fucking tape. Just leave it.
Some executive had a
didn't.
bad idea, and it went way too far.
And they didn't even double check it.
No.
With
The rule book.
So based on their rules, wait now. Let's pretend Dermott gets fined for this. Okay.
He won't.
Yeah, but let's pretend.
Okay.
So he gets fined for Pride tape. You had the rule up where they're allowed to have any kind of tape they want.
Yeah.
So what if, I can't use Pride tape, but I just so happen to want to use one purple strand.
Yep.
And one blue strand, and one green strand, and one yellow strand, and one. You could just make your own. What are we doing?
Silly.
Just leave it. How many players league wide even used it previously? Like Dermott is literally just going about his life as he usually would because he used it and then continued to use it, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe, well, sadly I can, but I can believe the NHL really made a meal out of this.
So we can expect kind of more of this coming. Even this week, the Arizona Coyotes have Pride Night on Friday. So I was confused because I thought the canceling of the jerseys included canceling of theme nights. I was under the impression that theme nights were shut down. No. But yeah, theme nights can keep going. And the first one of the season is Friday, where it's Pride Night in Arizona. So we're going to probably see a handful of players have Pride tape, and we're going to have this all over again. And the NHL is going to realize that, hey, this was terrible and we can't do anything about it. And the ban's not real.
No.
So I'm gonna be looking out and see what happens after the Kings Coyotes games on Friday.
So here's the thing too, Jesse. If the Knights were really banned, which they didn't do, but then why, when I watch the Tampa Bay Lightning Leafs game, am I watching 40 guys from the military come out for the national anthem?
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not against it. Not against it at all. But if that's really the ban, what if the Tampa Bay Lightning had brought out 40 people from the 2S LGBTQ plus community to sing the national anthem?
Tampa?
People would have been apoplectic about it.
Oh, I know. But Tampa, maybe more than any other market in the States, is really good at, stand on guard for the anthem's over. And now, the real anthem. And they bring out, we have a dozen flags and people in uniform and da-da-da-da. And they, then do the real anthem.
It is a little disrespectful because in every other arena, if they're going to have soldiers or whoever else they have come out, they do it for both anthems. But Tampa's like, fuck your anthem.
Well,
Only us.
Canada.
I believe there's a
also-
military base nearby too, which
Yeah.
it's really important
Yeah.
to the community. I'm
I
not
get it.
denigrating it.
No.
I'm saying there's a little bit of a standard here issue.
I mean, the Blue Jays will do the American anthem and then be like, here's a Canadian flag the size of a basketball court.
Yeah.
And we're going to pass it
We're the
around.
only fucking team in the league, okay? We deserve that flag.
It is you know what, man? Like in 2023, it takes a lot to impress me, but every opening day Jays game or Canada Day Jays game, I go, holy shit, look at the size of that flag.
It's incredible.
Where do they hide it? How do they
I don't
fold
know.
it?
I don't know.
How do you fold that? It must come apart in pieces.
No, I think it's got to be one piece.
Really?
Yeah, look how beautiful it is. It flies.
Can you imagine if it was like 4 pieces in Velcro? And
Just kind of
that'd be
it's a
worse.
windy day. And it just,
It snaps.
how impossible. Oh, shit.
Several people get flown out of the arena.
For the longest time,
It's like what do kids play in kindergarten with the parachute?
Oh, I know. I know.
so for the
We
longest
were
time,
talking about a serious issue.
the MLB does July 4th hats. So they have the like American flag
Yeah.
or whatever and the hats, and the Jays always get one. For the longest time, they would just do like the American flag with the Jays logo on it, and then finally, like in the last like half decade, they've started incorporating the Canadian flag into the July 4th hats, and you're like, oh, that makes sense.
There you go.
They have no relation.
Still not our day, but
Right.
like
least-
I'm cool celebrating the United States Day.
Yeah.
But if we got to celebrate that, you got to celebrate Canada Day, which is 3 days before.
They
Everybody's
don't.
wearing red jerseys. Everyone's
Everyone.
wearing those ugly ass
Everybody.
red Blue Jays jerseys. No, we're the blue team, but now we're the red team.
It's-
I don't like the Canada Day Jays game jersey.
They're not the best.
They're not.
No.
It could be better.
Can we just not play a red team that day?
Yeah, when it's like the Sox.
Yeah,
the
can we just play the Mariners?
and the Jays at Cincinnati.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 100%.
No, the Brewers aren't like on the road or something. Like, what?
No.
Why do we gotta play?
No, Steve. Interleague hasn't started yet.
Got it. Anyway,
So anyway, good for Travis Dermott. Would
Yeah.
love to see some more players come out and do it. And frankly, would love to see the NHL just go. Here's the best way for the NHL to back off this
Just let it
and not
be.
lose face.
just let it be.
No. You know what? We took it too far. We screwed up. Our bad.
Yeah, they don't want to do that though.
Gone. Never think about it again.
The tape's fine. See,
Yeah,
I
you know
think
what?
they would
we
rather.
took it too far. We did it in the interests of X. We apologize to the communities it affected.
Elon?
Huh?
Elon?
Oh, not Elon. X.
Oh, okay.
I was like, fill in the space.
'Cause I only know X as Elon.
I love, by the way, the emails I get from Twitter, X, bracket, formerly Twitter. Because you know that spam is going to cut out anything that with an X in front of it, right? Because of XXX. So Elon naming it X, they have to say formerly Twitter. Otherwise, the spam filters on Gmail are going to be like, yeah, no, you're not getting
Yeah, the only thing that doesn't have an X in it, that does have an X in it, is porn.
Yes.
Like, it's the only thing on the internet that has X's in it.
For the lulz, bro.
It's ridiculous. Anyways.
Also, they started putting, when they have team social media in the ice, they've started putting the X in. I've noticed the Twitter one has started to kind of.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's what it's called.
You're not my real dad. You're not my real dad.
I will
X.
go to Blue Sky, I swear.
I want. Yeah, anyone got a code? Everyone's got a code.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Over at Blue Sky, we have a Ferrari bed. That's where Jack is. That's Dad, right? At Dad's house.
Adam, please tell me you have seen the TikTok trend where the guy opens cards and he's like, all right, we're going to open a new pack of divorced dads.
Oh, no, I haven't.
No?
Can
And
you
he's-
send that to me? That'd be very fun.
I will. There's several now.
I love that. I do like all the divorced dad in the car in 2004 TikToks. Have you seen those? And it's like,
Oh, yes.
it's like Stain and Nickelback and Creed and all those bands. Puddle of Mud. My dad.
Puddle of mud.
Yeah, just listening to, and then it's like my dad, coming back from hockey after, my divorced dad, listening to this. I'm like, oh, that's funny. Anyway,
Blink 182 is playing the Rogers Center. The Alexis on Fire is opening for them.
Sky Dome.
You guys want to go?
Wait,
yeah, I would go to that.
Alexis on Fire is opening up for Blink
Blink
182.
182 at the Rogers Center.
Of course they are. Blink is like a.
I would like to go to that.
Yeah, I would
Your
go to
dad want to come?
No, but I'm a dad now and I want to go.
His dad would come. His dad would come.
My dad would come and be like, I don't know any of these songs. But I'm going to tell you about how good or bad the drummer is.
Oh, there you go. And the drummer's amazing.
Yes, he is.
Alexis is apparently incredible live. I've never seen them.
I saw them at the El Macombo, and I got knocked out of my shoe.
Oh my God. The El Macombo, you don't mess around there. That's,
I got
wow.
my ass kicked, and some guy made he was a big guy, and he made like a dome over me to like save
That's
me
nice.
from getting trampled. I got knocked on my shit.
Yeah, if you're not ready for a concert like that,
I was
it's
not
intense.
ready. I thought like a mosh pit was like a circle of people, but no, it was just the floor.
That's right.
It was the entire floor.
Entire floor.
I was young and foolish.
Can you guess the name of the Blink-182 tour?
One more time or back again or there's something like that, right?
No.
I'm close though, right?
Is it after one of their songs, or is it just like making fun of themselves, like bunch of old farts?
You get no guess.
Blink, Age of
no clues.
182.
Rock Hard tour.
Oh,
Hey!
hilarious. That's very them.
Let's go. Anyways,
That's very them. Okay. The NHL has released, finally, something for the fans. And I have to give them credit. And I rarely do, but I must, because this is something fans have been asking for at least a decade. And it's so nice that they got around to it. NHL Edge. NHL.com/Edge. You're going to be able to use, and remember we were talking about the chip that is in the pucks now, Steve, that you swore wasn't there.
Nah. No, I'm a puck truther. I'm a puck truther. Never happened.
So basically, all the stats that are available on the NHL broadcasts are now going to be available on NHL Edge. So that was only made available to the broadcasters. Now every single person who watches the game can have their second screen on NHL Edge.
Great.
Among the stats that the site will publish: maximum skating speed, skating distance, shot speed, shot save and location, puck zone time, which is puck possession. The technology has yet to produce puck on stick player possession numbers for public consumption, but
That would be more difficult.
that would be more difficult for sure. So long story short, seems like kind of a step in the right direction. Is it going to tell you that Ryan Reeves has the highest expected goals against
Yes.
the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Yes.
No, it's not.
No, I think
But it's a start.
I think the razzle dazzle, like that'll really interest people, is like the top, shot speed and top skating speed and all that. That's going to bring people in. The big one to me is shot location, and the way they divvy up that chart, and you're going to see where guys pepper shots on from, and you'll be able to be like, well, didn't you scout this guy? He always shoots from there. Come on, stuff like that.
Yep.
I did see some cynics saying, people are going to take all the wrong lessons. Just fast equals better.
Just let people enjoy
Yes,
stuff, guys.
I
Everybody.
agree.
Not everybody's Dom-lician. Like, it's okay to just get and not that Dom wouldn't get a kick out of this, but Dom's a very educated stats person.
Yes.
Not everybody needs to be Dom. Some people can be like, wow, the fact that McDavid shot that at 46 miles an hour, that's crazy.
Like
how about we just stop it? That's crazy.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's cool that he
one
can do
I
that.
saw was like Adam Fox he's typically like a slower player. Like but he plays the game slowly. That doesn't mean he's slow, right? But anyone with any morsel of critical thinking skills would see that and go, oh, guess you don't need to be fast to be good. You don't have to play 1 billion miles an hour to be an effective defenseman in the NHL. Let the vast majority of people come to that very obvious conclusion.
Well, I think you'd also, if you've played hockey, you've had the coach, everybody's had the coach say to them, let the game come to you.
Maybe that's what Adam Fox does.
Maybe that's what he does. So it's not as though that isn't out there.
It also doesn't surprise me that a defender would play slower.
Right.
They're going backwards, they're grinding, they're
I
I think this is a very good thing, and we should maybe not focus on the negative. It's just more information.
the only thing that if we want to focus on a little bit of the negative,
Okay.
the site is very slow.
That is not surprising.
It's taken a long time to change categories.
Is that an internet thing?
No,
Nope.
the internet's working great in here.
Nope, it's not an internet thing. So just trying to change. So I'm on the NHL Edge site right now. I'm looking at shot location. I just had it on long range shots, and it just tells me Victor Hedman is leading the league in long range shots. So I'm going to go to mid range. I'm going to go to high danger.
Victor Hedman looks really tired.
Yeah, I don't know why
Look
he
at
looks
that
tired
shot.
in that picture.
What?
Looks like he just got off the ice and they took the
Oh my
picture.
God. What are they
always-
doing to him?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
He's been in the league since 2000. Was it 8? 8. No, 9. And
Did he just get back from Nam? Like, what
Yeah,
happened?
He's
didn't
played
they
a shitload of games.
Why didn't they take the picture before he played?
Yeah.
It's clearly like he got off the ice. He still has the helmet. You know, you get the helmet mark on your forehead.
Media day. What do you think they take these pictures after games?
No, he clearly had his helmet on.
Yeah, he's got a helmet
What are you talking about?
NHL player. They all have that permanent line.
No, he clearly just got off. His nose is red.
Hey, why don't you reach out to the Tampa PR guy who's clearly a Leaf fan
And I will ask.
and ask him? Ask the fucking guy.
Jerome McGinley's head was permanently shaped like a helmet. Go look. He has a lot of NHL players have that line.
I know, but it looks like Victor Hedman just got off the ice.
You're wrong.
Anyways,
might have
so
for a photo shoot.
I just tried to go to high danger shots on goal. We're sitting here. It has not changed yet. We are still sitting here. Oh, there it is. And now it did it. Now it's on Austin Matthews, who leads the league in the high danger shots on goal.
Oh, 2 Leafs at the top. This site rules.
Now I'm
This
going to
site is correct and good.
I'm going to try and change categories. I'm going to go to zone time and offensive zone penalty kill.
Dawson Mercer,
cannot do
stop
it.
ruining my fantasy pool challenge.
It can't do it. We're still here. It still hasn't changed. It still hasn't changed. We're waiting
Yeah,
for the
this is
site to
pretty bad.
change. This is a long time to.
Hey, there you
it is.
go.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Finally got it.
Man,
we know
that's my favorite player, Steven Lorenz.
we know that Steven Lorenz leads it. Now I got to try and go to a different category. Let's do teams. Skating distance. Oh, there. Okay. Average miles per hour power play. Actually, no. Power
Skating
play.
distance is kind of interesting because, like, by the end of the season, you'll be able to see like what teams are kind of wearing themselves out.
There we go. Okay, now it's changed. So you made that whole sentence in that change. The site's very slow, but I assume hopefully they figure it out.
And they did say at the bottom of the article for Greg wrote about it that they're going to tweak some things.
Speed.
You know, well, they said
Jesse's gonna kick him in the neck.
they did say the algorithm for a shot speed will probably continue to get tweaked, so it's more accurate. And you know, like whatever, they're going to make it better. I mean, is it perfect? Is it exactly how you stats person would build it? Maybe not, but it's a step in the right direction.
Learn to code and do it yourself.
It'd be great,
There are plenty of sites that do.
and they're good.
Yeah.
They're really good sites.
No, just do it yourself.
All right, guys, I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about the NHL's wagons.
Yeah.
Absolute fucking wagons through 6 games. Not all of them have played 6 games.
Just to be, are you talking about teams that are really good or big asses?
No, I'm talking about teams that are really good.
Oh,
Not
okay.
quite. Listen, they haven't quite earned juggernaut status. Only CJ can bestow that.
So I kept saying wagon,
Mm-hmm.
like to refer to like a really good team or a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
And someone, I can't remember who it was, but they kept laughing. And I'm like, why are you laughing? Because they're like, that means big ass.
Oh.
And I've never heard wagon used to describe a big ass.
No, it's usually dumper.
Damn.
I think
Power
things
dumper.
can have multiple meanings.
Yeah. So, like
No.
GOAT. GOAT used to mean you were terrible. Now it means you're the greatest.
Yes.
Okay, so wagons through the first 6. Name a team. Who's been a wagon in the NHL?
The Red Wings.
Vegas Golden Knights.
Both are right. Okay, so the Vegas Golden Knights.
Stanley Cup final.
Quick guess. Who leads the Vegas Golden Knights in scoring?
Jonathan Marchessault.
Okay, Jesse, who do you
Chandler
think?
Stevenson.
Chandler Stevenson.
Whoa!
7 points in 6 games. Jesse's playing closely attention. Okay.
Someone keeps up with that.
All right. How many points does Alex DeBrincat have from the wagon Detroit Red Wings, who, by the way, are 5-1?
Yeah, 11.
10.
12.
Wow.
8 goals in 6 games.
He had a hattie.
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
Isn't that weird?
I bet Ottawa's thrilled.
I bet the guy who scores goals all the time forgot.
Yeah, so Detroit are 5-1. A couple other ones. Name a couple other ones.
The Colorado Avalanche are
Undefeated.
undefeated. The Boston Bruins are undefeated.
That's right. Now, there are 4 guys on the Avs who are at or above a point per game pace. The Wagon Avalanche. Who would it be?
McKinnon?
Yes.
Rantanen?
And you both can answer this. Yes.
Makar?
Mm-hmm.
And Drouin.
No, it's who was their new acquisition from the offseason?
Ross Colton? Drouin?
No.
It's
Who is it?
Lehkonen.
Arturi Lehkonen.
And Rantanen has 8, and the other guys have 6. Each of them.
Hot take.
Pretty good start. Pretty good
Legit.
start. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, this is hilarious. There's like, yeah, this is the year the Bruins are going to fall off. They've started 5-0.
They have a second round pick in the lineup from last year's draft. It was just like,
Yeah, and he scored 2 goals
fuck it,
last
Art Ross.
Matthew Portress, I think his name is. Porteous, or
Poitras, I think we'll know his name pretty soon. And you see him play, and I don't know if there's any team in the league who is better at drafting their players. The Bruins draft Bruins. They found one.
They did. Now,
Found another one.
the Boston Bruins have 3 guys who are the top 3 guys who have scored goals. Pasternak with 5, Marchand with 4. Who has 3 goals?
Zaka.
Okay, good guess.
It's not correct, is it?
See, DeBrusk just sat. So I'm going to say Coyle.
James Van Riemsdyk.
Hey, JVR.
JVR, of course.
Isn't that
DeBrusk
crazy?
Sitting was interesting.
That sure
That
was.
was just like no nonsense. You're late. You fucking don't play.
Okay, the thing the Bruins hate more than anything, like even hate more than the Habs,
Tea in the harbor.
is tea in the harbor and being late for breakfast. Tea in the
That was a history reference, so I like that.
Here, guys, I have a question to ask you.
What is it?
What is it? Yeah, no, they have no nonsense for team meetings. You are correct.
They do, but I have a question to ask you guys.
What is happening?
I got high and texted a bunch of my friends this on Saturday.
Don't do that.
Why? Or no, it was on Friday night. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't get high in text? No, absolutely get high in text. Thank you.
So what I said was I got really high and wrote this down.
Okay.
This is so important. If a Bostonian was going to say pronghorn, how would they say it? Pronghorn? Pranghan? Pronghan?
No, that's
Or pranghorn?
the second one.
I thought it was the 4th one.
I think it's the 4th one.
Say this fourth one again.
Pranghorn.
Oh, that was in the second one.
So the second one is pranghan.
I like that one.
Oh, you do? All right. To our Boston listeners,
How would you? Okay, would it be PRAWNG HAWN PRAHNG HAHN PRAWNG HAHN or PRAHNG HAWN?
Say the fourth one again.
Pranghan.
so
I'm so sorry.
what I was trying to figure out the Massachusetts accent or the Boston accent. Because like the
You can screw it up and make it New York.
yeah, you sort of can.
Yeah.
But so I've heard people call it, and I don't particularly like this because it is kind of like I've had a great time at Boston every time.
I love
And
Boston.
We saw the
I
Leafs
do.
get shit kicked there, and the fans were super nice to us. Like they were really
Boston's
cool.
awesome.
Our,
It's a great city.
our team rules. Yours fucking sucks. Here's a beer.
Yeah, 100%.
That's Boston
So they
in
call
a
it
nutshell.
they call it the mass hole thing, but the
I think
traditional
it's
term
mass wholesome.
mass wholesome. There you go. The non-Rohicity accent.
The non-Rohis.
The traditional Boston accent is widely known for being non-rhotic for R dropping, particularly in the mid-20th century. So when you are doing the accent, you got to drop the R. That's why. So maybe that.
I think I'm right.
Pong Han
Pranhan.
Yeah.
Prawn.
Say two again. Say two again.
Pranghan.
No, you're still
See,
using
but I got to keep the first R. They don't have no R.
right.
some
right.
are.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boston.
It's
Bostonians,
common,
we need you here.
according to Boston.com, and I feel like they would know. It's common to hear an R sound pronounced as an L.
Where? When?
I don't know. That's according. Listen, are you going to question Boston.com?
Yeah. I've never heard that ever.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. So
They talk about the O's and the ba, like that part.
you know what? I'm looking through it right now. The letter R itself is special because it often gets pronounced like a vowel. Many of the world's languages do not make a distinction between R and L. according to a linguistics expert. Both belong to a category of speech called liquids. It's common to hear R sound pronounced as an L and vice versa.
God, I wish you read this to me Friday night.
Another distinctive trait of English spoken in and around the Boston area concerns the vowel sound in many words.
Yes.
Mary, Mary, and Mary. So Mary the person, Mary as in Merry Christmas, and Mary as in to marry somebody.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Most English speakers in the U.S. pronounce all three more or less the same. Many native New Englanders pronounce all three with slightly different vowel sounds. Isn't that crazy? Linguistics is kind of...
Do you have more info? Did it keep going? About how each of one of those is pronounced? That's what I'm interested in.
So they didn't. They didn't get into that. But
they didn't spell it phonetically like a high idiot?
So say hot in a Boston accent.
Hot.
Yeah. In New England, this short O sound will often get changed subconsciously. Speakers in the region pronounce hot where it sounds phonetically spelled out H-A-W-T. Hot.
Hot.
Right? Bath. So you have to broaden the A, meaning that the A in bath sounds a lot more like the A in water. So water. Father.
Bath. Both. What the fuck?
I know. It's great. I know.
Pang.
Yeah.
Pang.
Prang.
Pang.
So I was playing Red Dead Redemption, riding my horse through the Heartlands, and I noticed a pronghorn, and I thought, how would a Bostonian say pronghorn? And so I wrote down 4 options.
Hey, by the way, if you're a Bostonian, I would love to hear how you say Mary, Mary, and Mary, because it doesn't go into that.
One of them's got to be Mari, I guess.
Yeah, because there'd be an Irish thing to that. Mary in English or in Irish is sort of how it sounds, right? Yeah. Anyway, and apparently the accent dates back to the 17th century, so it's been there a while.
I think the Bruins are good.
The Bruins are good.
Yeah. And they've been good since then.
The NHLPA is appealing the Rasmus Andersson hit on Patrick Laine. Now, I want to bring something up here because I have a video on. There's a lot of people who are like, "Is this even really a bad hit?" Right?
What?
Well, yeah, I think there are people out there like the league's got soft or whatever.
That's a terrible hit. It's like no dog in the fight whatsoever. It's a Calgary-Columbus game.
Jesse, I'm just sending to you now.
To me, there's a negligible amount of difference between Rasmus Andersson's hit on Patrick Laine and Mark Scheifele's hit on Jake Evans.
Right.
Now, if I had to pick which one was worse, Scheifele on Evans.
Way worse.
But they're the same, as in they're terrible, terrible, terrible illegal hits with an empty net for the team of the receiving player. And in this case, I think it was less than 2 seconds left in the game. There's very little time left in a 2-goal game. The Flames had no conceivable chance of winning this game. This is just Rasmus Andersson trying to get his pound of flesh. He jumps directly into Laine's brain. Like he's already off his feet at the point of contact.
The angle that most people saw is an angle where Rasmus Andersson, look at that.
Look at that shit.
The angle that most people saw was Rasmus Andersson from behind, and Laine sort of disappears, and people are like, "Oh, Laine's too far down." Look at how far off the ice Andersson is in this shot. It's got to be half a foot.
Superman. Rasmus Andersson is from the planet Krypton,
and that's an elbow.
Dude, that's terrible.
Look at the elbow. Look at the elbow.
I don't know if
crazy. They're never ever going to get anything. Like Gary Bettman is not repealing this.
He definitely shouldn't. Now, what I tweeted and some people misinterpreted it is the only argument the Calgary Flames have against this 4-game suspension. Last season, there was not a single suspension that was longer than 3 games. So this is the longest suspension we've seen in over a year. I think if Evgeny Malkin got 6 games for something, there were a bunch of longer ones in, I think it was the 21-22 season. Evander Kane got a really long one for the COVID protocol. I don't remember exactly which season that was. But this is the worst suspension or longest suspension we've seen in over a year. Now, Flames fans, I think, remind me a little bit of my reaction personally anyway to Jason Spezza's suspension for his hit on, I think it was Jake Morrissey. Josh Morrissey. Jake Morrissey. That felt wrong as I said it.
Yeah,
sorry. Josh Morrissey of the Winnipeg Jets. And where the way it's similar is you look at the hit and you're like, yeah, it's terrible, but worst hit in over a year? The Spezza one I will forever be salty about because he had a blemish-free 1,000-game career prior to that, and then his first illegal hit, he was dinged 6 games. 6 that was repealed down to 5. What? Mm-hmm. Some of the shit that we've seen over the last 2-3 years, that was 6 in a 56-game season, by the way? Holy shit. Where did that come from?
Well, it's over 10% of the year.
It was crazy. I think it was that year.
Mm-hmm. It was.
And
it was on a Saturday night. Too.
You know, and Audie James from Game Over Calgary does an excellent job and obviously covers the Flames. He said exactly what we said at the time, which was, all right, if this is 4 games, then that needs to be the standard across the board.
Yes, but we know that the NHL doesn't want to be held to a standard.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, to me, this is extremely black and white.
Audie's right, and so are you, but I'm just saying.
It's a bad hit on a star player, and you can decide whether or not the star player part matters, but it's a bad hit in a game that's out of reach.
Yes.
Like, how do you view it as anything but intent to injure?
Right.
Now, the NHLPA is appealing this, and one of the first things CJ sent us is Rasmus Andersson will be, I think, missing something like $91,000 in salary because of these 4 games that he's missing. That is why the NHLPA is appealing it, because, I mean, they're sticking up for one of their members. Well, what about Line A? Line A's guaranteed his money for as long as he's out. So they don't give a shit.
Well, I think the PA has to do that. I think they have to. I don't blame them for that.
They do.
Who else is supposed to represent the players?
It's their purpose. It's their purpose.
Here's what I found interesting, because in MLB, there was a pitcher who was suspended the other day. Was he on Arizona?
Is it Garcia?
Not Arizona. It was
Texas?
Against
Houston.
Texas. It was Houston. So one of the Houston pitchers was, because he pegged a guy, like just, and got...
Yeah?
Well, sorry, hit him with a... You can't say anything anymore without being sexual.
No, you can't.
Max Domi feet. Threw it, hit a big player on Texas. I forget who it was.
Mm-hmm. You're thinking about Brian Abreu throwing at Garcia.
And Abreu got 2 games?
2 game suspension.
So here's what he's doing.
Wow.
He is appealing. And it's very likely that his appeal process lasts long enough that he doesn't have to serve it until next year, if he has to serve it at all. And because
also, he gets to play.
You're allowed to play during the appeal. Now, remember when Dennis Weidman hit that referee?
Yes.
And he appealed it, and I think, would he get a 20 game or a 10 game or whatever it was?
I want to say it was 21
and
appealed down to 14.
Right.
I think that also happened to Tom Wilson.
But the season was already over. And so Andersson may still not play these 4 games the way it works in the NHL, but if it gets brought down a couple of games, then and it's all Gary Bettman that makes the call on this one. It's not long enough to bring in an arbitrator.
Right.
Then he will get refunded the money, but you still don't get to play. And I think that the MLB way is actually the right way.
That's what happened to Weidman, I'm pretty sure, is he missed the games, but he was owed money.
Right.
The only thing with the Abreu suspension is the appeal has to happen within 48 hours.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. So this morning, Monday morning, they're having the hearing for his appeal. Because it's a postseason appeal. Oh, that's within 48 hours, they do the appeal. So
Bettman appeals.
Even that feels too long.
Bettman appeals take 5 to 7 days.
That's so bad.
So Anderson's going to get to play in the Heritage Classic.
Well, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I mean, listen, they shouldn't do it if he's not going to be there. Like, I think they should. Jesse, wouldn't you not vote yes for that?
If Canada had a vote, if Justin Trudeau said, hey, everybody gets a vote on whether we move the Heritage Classic, I would vote to move it so Anderson can play in it.
Solely on behalf of him, though.
I thought this is a good time because the first time this year that we can bring our best friends at the Department of Player Safety to the show. We have our shirts that are in sdpnshop.ca if you want to get a shirt that says high sticking history, because that is all they use to determine suspensions.
They have one graphic.
And here is, we can listen to it. We can't show the footage because it is NHL footage, but we can listen to the NHL Department of Player Safety's decision on why they suspended Rasmus Andersson for 4 games. They're back.
That intro's so good.
It is good.
Friday night in Columbus, Flames defenseman Rasmus Andersson was assessed a major penalty and a game misconduct for launching into a high, hard check
It's so
delivered
bad.
to Blue Jackets forward Patrick Laine that makes significant head contact, causing an injury.
Good Branson doesn't
As the video
fuck
shows,
around, eh?
with seconds left in the game with the score out of reach, Laine collects the puck from a teammate as Andersson tracks from the neutral zone. As Laine sends the puck down the ice towards the empty net, Andersson launches upward into Laine, elevating unnecessarily and making significant contact to Laine's head with his elbow, causing an injury. This is charging.
No shit.
It is important to note that while we acknowledge Andersson's argument that Laine is low as he sends the puck down the ice, this is not a case in which a sudden movement by Laine turns an otherwise legal check into an illegal one.
No, it's a chicken shit hit.
Laine is low as Andersson approaches the hit, and Andersson still chooses to elevate into the hit, launching off the ice through contact rather than staying low and making contact with Laine's core. It is this unnecessary upward movement that causes Andersson's elbow to drive into Laine's head with force. This launch, the force of the hit, and the game circumstances under which the hit was thrown combined to elevate this hit to the level of supplemental
Watching
discipline.
it this many times, it should be longer than
summarize.
4.
Key points.
This is charging. Laine suffered an injury on the play.
Injury.
Andersson has been fined once during his
No
382
history.
game
No
NHL career.
relevant history.
The Department of Player Safety has suspended Rasmus Andersson for 4 games during.
There we go.
Wow.
Get that on the screen, Maddie. The key points. They
changed it.
They changed the key points graphic. Our hoodie is no longer accurate.
Wow.
So we need to update
We
it.
need to update the hoodie.
We need
But
new
this
ones.
is so
It's
boring.
just white with black.
It's
yeah.
just the NHL logo in the back. They also changed the Department of Player Safety logo to look more like an FBI logo. Like they have a new logo this year. I don't like the changes. I like our old
Bring it
design.
to the FBI.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it should have been more. I don't think 4 games was enough.
Dude, like watching it back, you know what? There has been a lot of this season and the preseason already is hits that were fined or suspended that directly led to injuries and like significant injuries, like guys who are going to be out a while. And now that I've put myself on the spot, I can't think of them. I'm sure you'll tweet them at me, and please do. But like, if you're a Blue Jackets fan, you're like, you asshole. That's our top center right now. That's our, one of our number 1 forwards. And you jumped into his brain because you were mad that you lost to the Blue Jackets. And I'm sorry, what's the argument that you should be getting less than 4 here? I really hope they don't take the outdoor game into account. Because, like, Flames fans are going to be denied the ability to watch Rasmus Andersson. What about all the Blue Jackets fans who don't get to watch Patrick Laine now because you fucking hit him in the brain? There's no argument for reducing this other than the only thing I think Rasmus Andersson and the Flames have to stand on is I would go through every suspended hit from last season and be like, you need to explain why this hit from Andersson is worse than all 20.
And I'm sure Gary will say, no, we don't. We judge this on a case. Because remember, they're big on we judge this on a case-by-case basis.
Well, also, like our,
So there is
our
no
old
standard.
does not have to be
See,
our new standard.
You're applying government court logic to this.
Right.
They do not.
That's not what
This is corporate logic.
It's a sport league.
Yes, and this is what we have decided.
No, dude.
And listen,
it's a terrible hit.
I'm all for the NHL handing out suspensions, especially against star players. I think a league without stars, which the NHL has been in the past, and maybe they're starting to figure out that, because there are, it feels to me at least, that there are more stars in this game now than there have been. And I say stars very loosely. Within the hockey community, there's more stars than there used to be.
Yes.
In the wider mainstream, there are almost none. But my point is, you got to protect those guys, and you can't have chicken shit stuff like that happening in the first 5 games. You can't.
It's a terrible, terrible hit. No, you need to. I mean, speaking of precedent, like maybe this hit is the precedent because it's so early in the season. You got to say this can't happen. Like when the net is empty, like it's lawless out there, man.
Yeah,
it's bad, and you can't tell players, you're allowed to take your pound of flesh. Hit a guy directly in the skull by jumping into it when there's less than 5 seconds left in a game that you're losing and you're mad about it. It's bad, dude. It's like, I'm not saying he's a dirty player, but it's clearly a dirty play. Clearly. Like, there's no reason to repeal this.
Agreed on all that. Now, we do have to wrap, but there's a couple last things I want to hit you guys with. One of them is trivia. First one, though, Julian McKenzie's going to have more on Noah Hannafin's contract extension in Calgary on today's CJ show, which is great. And it's not done yet, but there's progress made. The other one is Anze Kopitar is now the LA Kings leader in games played.
Wow.
He played his 1,297th game as an LA King.
Who'd he pass?
Dustin Brown?
That's right, Dustin Brown.
What? Oh,
Now,
right.
here's the question.
Okay.
The Kings selected Kopitar with the 11th overall pick in the 2005 draft, gentlemen. He is one of 10 players from the draft still playing.
2005 draft.
Can I name them?
Yeah.
Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Crosby. Bobby Ryan.
Is Bobby Ryan still playing?
Oh, shit, you're right. Yeah, sorry. Crosby from the 2005 draft. Sidney Crosby. There's one. We're strong. We're starting strong.
I'm trying to think of a goal set. No, Fleury's 03. Old goalies.
No. Tuukka Rask was from 2005 or 6. Shit. This is really difficult.
Gio's too old. I'm trying to go.
Gio's undrafted.
Yeah, and too old. Corey Perry. What year's Corey Perry?
I think he was 2003.
He is not in this draft year.
No, it's too old.
This is a really hard question, but I thought you guys would have fun.
How old is Brent Burns? Has been around for a while, but he's not that old.
Not Brent Burns.
Chris Letang.
Let me see here. No.
No. Oh,
I
too
thought the
old.
Penguins got another guy.
So you guys said who have you said so far? Oh no, Letang is in this. Sorry.
Oh, there
Letang
you
is
go.
there. My apologies. Letang is there.
No, you're right.
Nick Backstrom?
Not Nick Backstrom.
Fuck. So I've only got Crosby and Letang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. This is so difficult.
Yeah, no, this is hard.
Isn't it
I don't
nuts?
know, man.
Okay, so here's who we got.
Who do we got?
Kopitar,
Okay.
Mark-Edward Vlasic, Andrew Cogliano,
Oh.
Okay.
Sidney Crosby,
Okay.
Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson.
Who does he even play for?
I don't even know
Chicago?
who's playing. Yeah.
Colorado? Still?
I don't know who he's playing.
no.
No.
Chicago. I don't know. Mark Stahl, who was drafted the pick after Anze Kopitar.
Wow.
Chris Letang, TJ Oshie.
Oshie.
Yeah.
wow.
TJ Sochi. Jonathan Quick. And
that's a good one.
the last one's my favorite.
Is it a Leaf? Were they known for being a Leaf?
It's a Leaf.
Oh, a current Leaf?
It's a current Leaf.
The fuck?
This should be easy.
Ryan Reeves?
Ryan Reeves. Amazing. Also on that list that retired last year was Paul Stastny and Anton Strawman. I thought that was Darren Helm as well. Kind of
you go.
crazy,
Wow.
huh? Yeah.
I like that. I wish I could have done better for you there.
No, that's okay.
That was impossible.
really
It's a fucking
difficult.
hard question.
No, that was impossible.
I figured if you guys got 2 or 3, we'd be lucky.
Yeah.
And you did.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.